Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We've got Shaka here, who's an expert on third-tier German sides today.
Yes.
And Quaker only came in because Manchester United lost. I
was doing the garden, I was digging away, doing the edges, pruning the roses, all that sort of stuff. Hands dirty, the rubber gloves were on. Oh, spare you the details.
Please, yeah, carry on.
And I just... Losing to Grimsby, you say? Start the vehicle.
There's a bat signal.
Yep.
The bat phone rang.
There's a bat signal that goes up.
The bat phone rang. Get your butt in here.
Every time Manu goes behind, a little red phone
You know the thing is,
starts to ring.
It's actually a bad deal for me. Because every time Man United lose, I have to come in. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot of work.
The 2 out of 3.
Like 7 day a week.
Okay. Chuck Pasadena, first question. Don't know if you can hear this over the booming internet, but just how cooked is Manchester United right now?
Well, Shaka talked about it on
the
live show. They got Burley coming up. Then they got is there an
international break?
International break, which is when managers normally get the sack. Not suggesting it's going to happen. I tell you what, if you lost to Burley, newly promoted Burley under Scott Parker, ooh, that would be a twitchy international break, wouldn't it?
They can't lose to Burley, surely.
Then they've got City and Chelsea and somebody else.
They couldn't lose to Grimsby either, surely.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I mean, you did look at that and kind of go, oh, Grimsby, we don't need to talk about that, but they can't lose to Burnley, but now they really can't lose to Burnley.
They really cannot. At home, to Burnley, they can't lose that.
Okay, there's obviously a lot of Manchester United questions tonight. As a Manchester United fan, I've watched my manager win 7 and collect 28 points in 29 Premier League games. Now I've watched him get out-coached by Dave Artell and Grimsby with a quarter of the talent. Why on earth does Amorim deserve another game at my club?
Good question. I think, I don't know about you, Shaq, that they've made a decision. They absolutely made a mess of the Ten Hag situation. A complete mess. I mean, a complete shambles. Winning the FA Cup and they've gone, there's a contract, everything's rosy. When we all sat here and went, now, cut them now, move on. So they delayed that. They then went all in on Amorim, and so they're in a corner. They're in a corner, because it's been their decision. So I don't think they'll fire him, to be honest.
I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Not that he deserves to be kept, but one, Craig mentioned the whole history to it was just an absolute mess, and then you just wonder if Manchester United can afford to pay up another manager and then bring in another manager who will want to bring in players of his own to try to fix this mess. I mean, it's pretty ridiculous.
Right, so, go on, Zach, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, just touch on the whole Ten Hag situation and the FA Cup. And I know we're only 2 games into the season, but we're having the same conversation around Spurs at the end of last season. Do they stick with Postecoglou, given they won the Europa League or not? Look what they did, and look how, I know it's only 2 games in, but look how good a start they have made under Frank. And you just wonder if Manchester United missed a significant moment in making that clean break in the off-season. Because then they bring in Amorim in the middle of the season. He's laboured with this team. There's a lot of doubt about him. You wonder if the team is buying into his tactics. Gets a full pre-season, and similarly, look how poor a start they've made this time around.
Here's the deal for United, though. When he keeps talking about this system, and I mentioned it in the show, it drives me absolutely nuts now. Because his lack of flexibility. But when you start talking about bringing players in for a system, and United go down that road, so when you sack him, then what do you do? Because you've brought players in for his system.
That they can't play.
They're struggling to play in. And then you bring another manager in who wants to go a completely different road.
You bring players in to play a certain system, and they can't play that system. So now you sack him to bring another manager in to play another system. I don't get it.
Okay, more Manchester United. What does it say about Sesko that he only stepped up as the 10th penalty taker?
Not a lot.
Did Mark talk about that?
He mentioned. I think it came up.
You would think that as a striker, as a big name striker, you would have stepped up a whole lot earlier.
I think De Ligt stepped up before him, didn't he?
I don't.
Harry Maguire stepped up before him.
Well, we've seen Harry Maguire take penalties
stepped up before
for
him.
England.
Joshua
etc.
Zirkzee stepped
Yeah.
up.
Seen Maguire take penalties. Took it wonderfully well. But still, before so many of the others, you would think your striker, you fancy him from 12 yards. I don't get it.
What is the biggest cup upset that Burley and Hislop have experienced in their playing days?
Went out to Millwall when Casey was in goals in a penalty shootout. I scored mine. I did. Keller was no problem. Little side foot, wrong way. He had hair then.
Long time ago.
Put me off that. I think when I was at Celtic, we may have lost to Clyde. People won't even know who the hell this is. Yeah. Oh, the fans were irate, I can tell you.
That's in Timbuktu at all, Clyde.
Clyde. Club in Scotland, that Clyde.
I'm struggling to recall any big upsets, but I was part of that Newcastle team against Stevenage. Remember that year where Dalglish said, "Oh, we'll play in where was it? Milton Keynes or wherever he said," and there was this big kind of furor about it because
tickets.
Well, they wanted.
Wasn't that when he went? Wasn't that the time when he moaned about tickets? And Jeremy Paxman, great interviewer, got him on BBC Newsnight and absolutely ripped him to shreds.
It was about the ground. He wanted to get the first leg moved to St James's Park. Okay. Didn't fancy going there, and so he said, "Listen, move it to St James's Park. You'll get a bigger cut of the tickets, more money for the club." And then I can't remember who had the rights for which television company had the rights for the game. They were like, "Nah, play it at your ground." Pretty sure it was Stevenage. We'll pay you this amount. And there was this big back and forth about it. And we went there and in the end drew 1-1 in the first leg. Got away with it. The weather was awful, pitch was awful to be fair. Got away with it and then went back to St James's and won comfortably. But yeah, if everybody was against us that night, that would have been ugly.
That was a tough one. Did Craig's dad ever head into the Chelsea locker room to tell the manager he was completely misusing him? This is a nod to Joe Bellingham's father, Mark Bellingham.
I think it's no secret that the Bellingham father is a little bit of a feisty character. I don't think that's a secret. However, he shouldn't be down where he was anyway. And no. I mean, I would have chucked him out myself.
Yeah.
In fact, they would never have done that. All this parents getting involved. Parents get involved when you're a kid.
And they shouldn't even get involved then.
But, I don't mean get involved when you're a kid. Parents come to games when you're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and they stand at the side and they shout on and they encourage or they criticise. And that's the end of it. Once you become a professional footballer, there is no place.
None.
There's no place for parents coming down. Your parents, your family go into the players' lounge and all that, where families get together after a game and have a beer or do whatever they do these days, and that's it.
Even when you're representing your sons, potentially, even if you are their representative, it's still no.
Why the hell's a representative? Even if you're a representative should be in the stands.
Yeah, agreed.
And then he makes a phone call if he's not happy. It's ridiculous.
Whether it's a parent, whether it's an agent, whether it's a parent acting as an agent, no, you have no interactions with the club hierarchy, other than on the Monday to call them and ask those questions as agents do, if that's the role. If you're the agent, then you call and I want to move or wherever it is. But you don't go down to the tunnel and question the manager head on like that. As a player, if my dad do that, I'd be so embarrassed.
Yeah, by the way, but don't. I'd say to him, by the way, you're not coming back to your game. You're not coming back to your game. Right, I'm telling you, you're banned.
Yeah.
Well, that's a report that they've banned parents now.
I would ban my dad.
Yes.
I'm banning him.
I would ban my dad.
Anyway, my dad was the opposite. He's down there, Mark Bellingham, I think it is, doing whatever he's doing, because his boy got 10 off at half time. My old boy told me to retire. I'm serious.
Thanks,
This
Dad.
is what I played my 46 in last game for Scotland. So won my 46 cap. It was my one ever game under Bertie Vogts, right? Only played for Bertie once. The other 45 were for Craig Brown. And we lost to Austria and my legs were gone. I'd had all these injuries. I was gone. I could barely get about. And I remember playing and I was like, this is just not enjoyable. And I went up to the players, up to the family room after the game, and they're all there, and I walked in. My dad said, there's a beer. I'm in a beer, and he went, think about retiring. But that's good. That's good, because that told me what I already knew in my head, that it was time to go. You know what I mean? So
Tough love. Yeah.
I knew that anyway, but it was quite a funny line. I quite enjoyed it.
For Craig, is Scottish football becoming embarrassing? 2 top teams, horror shows in Europe this week, and the national team is poor. What's happening?
Do you know, I'm not going to pile on Scottish football because I don't follow it these days. There is a lack of fine, and I saw one of the journalists that I'm quite friendly with, Ewan Murray, covers all the golf for The Guardian and stuff. He's a big Hearts fan. Dundee United played a game recently and there was not one Scots player on the team. Not one. Now, I know in England that can be the case sometimes because all these big superstars are coming in, but there's no money in Scotland for big superstars to come in. So you've got to breed somehow this homegrown talent. You've got to nurture it. Not one Scottish player. And so when you add that to the fact that TV money in Scotland is a pittance, Sky, who cover it, I believe Sky Sports, they'll only pay what it's worth. They're willing to pay $1 billion for the Premier League because that's worth $1 billion. And they're willing to pay whatever it is for the Scottish football because that's all it's worth to them. So there's no money coming in from the TV, which is where, you know, back in the day, clubs generated money through turnstiles, through fans. And they still do, but it's not where the bulk of the money comes, a very small percentage. The bulk of the money comes from the commercial departments and the TV money. And in Scotland, that is very low. And so the lack of investment means a lack of quality, and clubs don't want to spend, because Celtic don't want to spend too much, because we can win the league without spending too much. We don't want to overspend, because they're already winning the league, because Rangers are poor. So the board sit in their hands, they don't want to spend it, want to keep it in the pocket, because they're already getting success. And then they get caught out by a team from Kazakhstan, and everybody's up in arms. So, it's not a good. I'm not going into the details of which players are good and which players are bad because I don't know. But what I can tell you is, when there's a lack of investment, as there is in Scottish football, it is difficult to get out of the mire that you're in unless you're breeding and nurturing really homegrown talent, which they are not, unfortunately, for the most part.
Okay, well, we'll end it there tonight. Thank you so much for sending in your questions.